batsrats.com. Bats Rats Wildlife Control and Prevention.
Nebco is hiring CDL drivers for Ready Mix Concrete, Husker Concrete, and Beatrice Concrete. Nebco offers great pay, medical, and retirement benefits, paid time off, and we pay for CDL training. Apply today to earn an average total compensation of $50,000 to $60,000 your first year driving. From Nebco's beginnings in 1908, it's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's NEBCOINC.com.
Steve's Garage Doors and Services is hiring. They are looking for a garage door installation and service technician with a clean driving record. Experience is not required as they will train for the positions. However, mechanical aptitude is required. If you want to come be a part of a small business where you're family, not just an employee, call Steve's Garage Doors and Services today to apply at 402-480-2840. That's 402-480-2840. Steve's Garage Doors and Services.
You're listening to coverage of the NCAA tournament live from Buffalo Wings and Rings at 68th and O on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Gather round. This is the Ticket Water Cooler.
This is what the greatest thing about sports is. You play to win the game.
Coming at you live in the heart of Lincoln, America.
I say, hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right.
On air and online at theticketfm.com. Here are your hosts, Jake Bakoven and Enrique Alvarez Clearing.
Welcome in to day 2, March Mayhem here on 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. We are live once again from Buffalo Wings and Rings at 68th and O. We'll be here. We've been out here since 10 a.m. We're going to be here until 6 p.m. They've got games going all day. They've got March Madness going on all day here at Buffalo Wings and Rings. Get out here. They've got green beer because, hey, it's St. Patrick's Day. Wear your green. Get out here. Have some fun. It's snowing a little bit outside, but it shouldn't impair you too much to get down here. This is the Ticket Water Cooler. Bach is on his way over from the station, so I'm joined by my other co-host.
Yeah, exactly.
Nick Sainer.
Hello, Rico.
How are you?
I'm doing well. We've had a great group of games yesterday and last night, and it's already starting off with a couple good ones. Michigan State was out front early, but then now USC came storming back. That one's close at half. Kennesaw just took their first lead on Xavier a moment ago. I think that one's tied at 25 now. And we had some crazy, crazy upsets last night.
Oh, last night was such a blast. I mean, would you call it the biggest one? Like, Arizona's was big. But to me, Virginia's was massive just because of the way that it happened. The way that Furman was able to pull out the victory over Virginia, to me, makes it bigger than Arizona's. But Arizona was a 2 seed. Arizona was a lot of people's picks to win the national championship, which ruined so many brackets.
Well, and luckily enough, so I missed 3 games yesterday. I missed the common ones between Arizona and Princeton. I missed the Furman-Virginia game. And then the other one I had was Utah State beating Missouri. Well, the good news is somewhat good news, I suppose.
Yeah.
I had Arizona losing in the next round. In the round of 32 to Utah State.
That was a bold prediction, but I guess it worked out.
It was. But so the Arizona loss doesn't kill me. It obviously sets me back since now Utah State fell to Dennis Gates, and give Dennis Gates credit for in his first year with Missouri taking him to a round of 32 appearance. And they'll have
the same Missouri team that started off the season, I want to say, 12-0?
Yeah.
They were red hot to start the season. People were picking them as one of the favorites in the SEC. They cooled off a bit, but still a really good Missouri Tigers team gets the victory over Utah State, which I also had Utah State winning. I don't know. I feel like that was a pretty popular upset pick, but I had them losing in the next round to Arizona, and Arizona in the Sweet 16, losing to Baylor. So, again, that doesn't affect me too much. And if you're wondering, hey, I wonder how the 93.7 The Ticket Bracket Challenge is going.
Yeah.
Well, there are 7 people currently tied for first place in our bracket challenge with 140 points, which means they only got 2 games wrong yesterday.
However, there's one person with Arizona and one person with Texas A&M, and both those teams, if you did not know, lost yesterday. Arizona, obviously, to Princeton, and then Texas A&M give Penn State a lot of credit. Jalen Pickett,
that.
ball player.
Look at Penn State. I almost picked Penn State, but I was a little hesitant just because, I was like, Texas A&M, they made it to the SEC championship, forgetting Penn State made it to the Big Ten championship.
Micah Shrewsbury, really, really good basketball coach. I'm going to hand it over to Bach here. You guys can do your show.
All right, we can talk about this. We can talk about this more when Bach gets on here because I'm sure he watched damn near every game yesterday because Bach is a basketball fan. Even if he's more of an NBA fan than a college basketball fan, he's more of a college football fan, really, if we're talking any sports. But I'm sure you watched a bunch of those games yesterday. Bach, how you doing? Welcome back. Welcome over from the studio.
Yeah, thank you. I try to get in the picture
yeah,
here.
You're good. We're figuring it out.
Yeah, I mean, NBA is my favorite form of basketball, but even with that, the best days of basketball are right now, Thursday and Friday. So glad to be out here. Buffalo Wings and Rings. That always makes it extra special because I'm looking forward to some rings that I'm getting.
Are you going to get some onion rings?
I meant wings. I'm getting
wings.
Yeah, I'm just going to get some
Bob.
wings here. Here's Bob. Oh, he's leaving.
Right.
Oh, we'll never see you again, Bob.
Have a good one, Bob. All right.
Oh, he's coming in
He's
for
coming
the
back for the spring game. That's going to be a big day. It's going to be a big day. Yes. So yesterday we're talking big days, right? So the spring game. Yesterday, Hayes Fawcett, who is the 22-year-old who makes all the edits for all the recruits, right? He does all those commitment. He did a couple decommitment edits, which are just hilarious. He was the one that sent out that announcement from Dylan Raiola, and it was just announcing all the schools that he had scholarships from.
Oh yeah, okay.
He's that guy that everybody he knows where all of these kids are going, but he keeps such a tight lid on it that everybody trusts him to make these edits for him. So yesterday he put out an edit of the visits that Dylan Raiola is going to take over the next couple of months, right?
Yeah.
He's visiting Nebraska 3 times.
Yes.
Everywhere else, 1 time. I'm not saying that means anything, but it's a little not suspicious. It's a little interesting. If you're a Nebraska fan who truly believes that the Huskers are going to nab Dylan Raiola.
It's certainly better to see that than the other way around. If you saw Nebraska on there once and 3 USC visits, you'd be pretty nervous about it. And we can get to talk. We're still going to have Brian Munson of Husker Online and On3 join us here in about 10 minutes. So we'll, as usual, we'll be included with a Dylan Raiola question in there. But I can't wait for spring ball. I know we do this thing. Sometimes you build up for the spring game, and then by the third quarter, you're just kind of disinterested and leave or whatever.
You're like, oh, cool. I learned nothing.
Yeah, but I think there's been plenty of great spring game memories. And, of course, this year, and again, I'm going to ask Brian about this because it's just the most fascinating thing to me. This is an NFL training camp style. I mean, there's going to be guys that aren't going to be on the roster by the time we kick off the ball against Minnesota. So, whatever way you want to put it, you can't call it cuts, but I don't know what, that's just to be nice.
We would rather you not be here by the time the season begins.
So it's getting, it's one of those just twiddle your thumbs while they come into the office and say, what would be your ideal other type of schools?
Yeah.
Get you that situation?
It sucks, right? It sucks that some of these guys, I don't know about kids, some of these guys aren't going to be members of the Nebraska football program before fall camp starts, after spring ball. Some of these guys are going to have to try and find new homes, which that's really one of the worst parts is they're going to have to try and find places where, A, they're going to continue their education, and B, they're going to continue their football playing careers. That really sucks because it's a small amount of time that you're going to have to maybe get visits in if you're including football, or maybe you're just done with football. Maybe you'll stay at the University of Nebraska and continue your education. But either way, both of those situations are going to suck for whoever ends up not being on Nebraska's football team. And that's, on that side of things. But in terms of putting a team together, it's fantastic to have this many players because you have, your pick of the litter of the guys that you have in your locker room on your roster to choose from. You really can choose the best person at whatever position that you currently have because you're going to be going through so many different people.
Well, yeah, and with the transfer portal, NIL, all that stuff, I mean, the game's kind of changing from year to year. Haven't seen anything like this, but maybe it won't be the last time we do it. It certainly, it helps jumpstart the turnover. If you're a Nebraska fan, it might not be the nicest thing for a new coach to come in and do, but it is going to help jumpstart that turnover. So you don't have, wait till he gets his guys in. He's picking the guys that you left over, and he's bringing in about 40 of his those guys anyway. So it's going to be a quick turnover for Nebraska as far as what Matt Rule wants to have it. I'm just as interested in that, in totality discussion, because you ask what kind of program did Scott Frost and ultimately Mickey Joseph leave once they hand the reins over. It wasn't a program that got defeated and blown out, and it wasn't far away from all the other Big Ten West teams that we played. We saw that in the games last year. If they do all this switching around, and then some of those games, like the Minnesota game and the Purdue game or whatever, those games aren't as close, that will be interesting. So, I mean, I know Matt Rule can't do any wrong right now because it's the offseason and he's sitting down with Tom Osborne and Trev Alberts. But as soon as one loss pops up there, the discussion will change, and then maybe not all these offseason moves will be as applauded. But we'll wait and see. I mean, it is without a doubt one of the most exciting spring sessions that we'll have for Nebraska football in the near future.
National champions once again. That's usually what happens, right? But oh, goodness gracious, I just lost my train of thought. I knew exactly where I wanted to go with it, and I completely just botched it.
Green beer?
No, not green beer. It was something with football. Oh, well, I'll come back to it at some point. But we are here for March Mayhem, March Madness, as it is called, that we can't call it. So March Mayhem here at Buffalo Wings Ring, 68th and O. Come join us. The doors are open. We're full. Well, not full. There's still a couple tables open. So come down here, get yourself some wings, get yourself some green beer because it's St. Patrick's Day, and you can get it. You get a ticket as soon as you walk in that you will be eligible to win prizes from 93.7 The Ticket. Again, green beers available today and draft beers of Bud Light and Busch Light. Door prizes at the top of every hour from noon to 5. No purchase necessary. Like I said, you get a ticket. Prizes like beer tubes, beer buckets, appetizers, wings and rings, $25 gift card, Craft Axe Throwing $25 gift card, a ticket prize pack, St. Patrick's Day shirts, Salt Dogs tickets, and Beatrice Bakery cakes, which are delicious. So get down here, get a ticket, get some wings, get some rings, get some beer. Get a sandwich if you want. The burgers are delicious here as well. Get whatever you want while you get down here and watch some basketball and listen to us talk about, sports and possibly some basketball because, again, some upsets yesterday. Bach, what was the most surprising or the biggest upset to you? Not just, the biggest upset overall, but the biggest upset to you yesterday.
Well, unfortunately, and I've filled out 2 brackets this year, and UCLA was my pick in one. Go Bruins, future Big Ten. Arizona was my pick in the other, so I'd have to say that one surprised me a little bit more than the Furman, Virginia game. But you're right, because I heard you coming in when I was coming in saying for some reason that one, not for some reason, but that one sticks a little bit more to you just because of the way it happened. Dramatic 3-point shot, an error at the end of the game from Virginia that's going to be something that kind of sticks in that fan base's minds for a long time. So that game, I think that one gets put on the highlight reel of big-time shots in March. I don't know if Princeton and Arizona will. It was a close game, but just kind of anticlimactic, I suppose, within the last few possessions, which makes the difference. Yeah. I'm always a conference guy, so kind of one thing that stood out to me is the more tournaments that Fran McCaffrey and Brad Underwood make, the more they lose before making it to the Sweet 16. It made me kind of question because I can run this down now. Fran McCaffrey's had 12 NCAA tournament appearances, 0 Sweet 16s. Ooh. 13 years at Iowa now with 4 NCAA victories. Now, to a Nebraska fan, 4 NCAA victories, that sounds amazing. Hey, build a statue for somebody outside Pinnacle Bank Arena for that. But you wonder if, we talk about him leaving for another job, if Iowa fans are kind of get frustrated with this March shortcomings sort of situation. Connor McCaffrey, very emotional yesterday. I mean, that's what you want in an NCAA tournament game too, just because of the coach's son playing his last game there for his dad. Brad Underwood, on the other hand, 6 years, 3 tournaments, and 2 victories at Illinois. Maybe a little bit more frustrating for the Illinois fan base because they've had Kofi Coburn and Ayu DeSumo and some maybe just more higher expectations. Though the Keegan Murray team in last year's Iowa, that was a big mishap from them. That should have been a tournament team that went deep into the tournament. Either way, 0 Sweet 16s for Brad Underwood in 7 total tournaments throughout his career. They always say my go-tos again, and I'm adding Mark Few to this. Is Mark Few and Tom Izzo. Bet on them in March. Another one is going to be now bet against Fran McCaffrey and bet against Brad Underwood in March because they just don't seem to get enough wins done. But those were the two losses in the Big Ten. Big Ten overall went 3-2 with impressive victories from Northwestern and Penn State, as well as Maryland edging out West Virginia. So we'll see what they do today. Of course, Michigan State in action right now with USC, future Big Ten opponent.
I have to find this tweet. I think it was from Schaefer. It probably wasn't. It was something about, definitely it wasn't from him. It was something about the Mark
Shout out Mike
Few.
Schaefer.
It was, shout out to Mark Schaefer. Mark Few versus Virginia. What's Virginia's coach's name? Why can I not remember his name right now?
Oh, Virginia's coach. Yeah, you're right. Now
Yeah,
I'm blanking on it,
okay,
too.
but
Very well-known coach.
Yeah,
I can't think
Gonzaga's
of his name.
coach and Virginia's coach over the last couple of seasons. Gonzaga has, championship appearance, multiple Sweet 16s, like all this stuff, a lot of victories. I think they have like 26 victories or something like that. It's probably not too many, but a lot of victories over the course of however many years. And then Virginia over the last few years has like 2 or 3 first-round exits, a national championship, and like a Sweet 16. And it was like, whose team or who would you rather be a fan of?
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, I want to be a fan of the national championship team, but also you lost twice in the first round. Once you became the first 1 seed to lose, and the second you were a 4 seed and you lost. So would you want that, or would you want Gonzaga, who continuously wins every tournament they get into, but can't seem to break that national championship bubble?
God, it really does just strike you as a Nebraska basketball fan. All things like either one of those, just like I would jump for joy at either one
You're
of
like,
those.
yes, dear God, yes.
Trying to make fun of Coach Fran McCaffrey and Brad Underwood, and like I said, would probably build a statue out front of the side of Pinnacle Bank Arena for either of those tenures. It's just crazy that there are teams. I mean, Kansas has I don't know what their record is, something like 116. Hasn't lost in the first day in like 16 straight years or something like that.
Yeah,
it's just crazy the expectation at a school like that compared to Nebraska, where it's. I mean, we were all felt pretty good about a 16-16 season this year.
Yeah, that would have been really, really, really nice. But I really want to read this because it was a really good. Okay, here we go.
Tony Bennett's his name.
It was actually, shout out to Tony Bennett. It was actually from my good friend, Caleb Henry. Since 2017-18, Virginia has a national title and 3 first-round exits for 6 total wins. Gonzaga has a runner-up, Elite 8, a pair of Sweet 16s, and whatever happens this year for 12-plus wins. What team would you rather be a fan of?
Oh, boy. I think you've got to go
I chose Virginia because you got the national championship.
Yeah. The 16-1 thing, yeah, I mean
that's six wins
that's pretty
in the
rough.
NCAA tournament since 2017-18 season.
Yeah.
Where Gonzaga has 12-plus wins since 2017-18, but no national title. No first-round exits, no national championship.
Well, and the other thing, too, is if you're a Gonzaga fan, you haven't won a championship before. So, I mean, if you just throw one championship out there, I think you'd give it up.
I think you would take that 1 year. Yeah, it's one, and then you get eliminated in the first round the next 2 years. You're like, yeah, but 2 years ago, we won the title, so I don't really care about that.
Well, and then especially, defending the 16-1 loss because that, I mean, it's really, I mean, many, including myself, thought I'd never see that. So, I mean, that really was historic. But to get a championship the next year kind of made up for it.
It was pretty nice. That's what I'm saying. So, obviously, they lost in the first round and then won national championship. This year they lose in the first round. So, next year they either make the Final Four or win the national championship. That's kind of bet on Virginia next year. That's my scientific take to that. But that's going to do it for the first segment. We got to get to Brian Munson.
We do.
So we're done here with the first segment here on the Ticket Water Cooler. Up next, we've got Brian Munson of On3 Husker Online. We'll ask him a couple football questions, maybe a little bit of the Dylan Raiola visit list, and maybe ask him a question about Daniel Kalen, who is committed to Missouri, but is visiting USC this weekend. What's that about? Up next on the Ticket Water Cooler.
You're listening to coverage of the NCAA Tournament live from Buffalo Wings and Rings at 68th and O on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Constructors is now hiring for all positions, with laborers starting at $20 and up based on experience. Constructors has immediate job openings for laborers, mechanics, bridge builders, operators, and drivers. Start your new career today. Constructors offers great pay, health, dental, and vision insurance, paid time off, paid holidays, and so much more. Join the crew today and be a part of Nebraska's oldest paving company dating back to 1908. For a complete list of openings and to apply online, visit constructorslincoln.com.
Let me share something to make life just a little easier. It's just one word, Bryant. If we need service on our furnace or AC, we call Bryant. Same thing goes for an electrical issue. If I have a problem with my faucet, a toilet, a drain, or a water heater, I don't need to know how to fix something. I just need to know who to call. And at our house, it's Bryant.
Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. Just one call. 467-1111. Remember, we do whatever it takes.
This is Jay Foreman. When I played football for Nebraska and in the NFL, I wore protective gear to safeguard my health. Today, I'm not only protecting my health, but everyone in our community by staying up to date with the bivalent COVID vaccine. Update your protection with the bivalent COVID vaccine while it's still free. Find out more at healthylincoln.org. That's healthylincoln.org.
March is a month of good luck. From epic runs in state basketball to watching Cinderella spring the upset in college basketball. And of course, St. Patrick's Day. Luck is on your side at Mullen Motors too, because their lot is full of great vehicles to take home. Come check out their lot just north of 48th and Layton and find your next ride, as summer road trips are just around the corner. Your luck starts this month at Mullen Motors.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Meeting your goal of having a healthy diet has never been easier than with the Venue at Home Healthy Living subscription. Chef-inspired meals that are health conscious and delivered right to your door every week. All you have to do is heat and eat. We offer delicious entrees, gluten-free pastas, fresh rice bowls, soups, salads, and more. Build your own package as a subscription to receive meals every week, designed to help you meet your dietary goals. Order your custom healthy meal package today at venueathome.net.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red!
March is full of high school state basketball action, the NCAA tournament, baseball season starting up, all great things that also cause a lot of stress. Instead of letting your nerves get the best of you and cause uncomfortable tightness, get ahead of all of it with a massage from The Body Shop. The Body Shop in Lincoln is your place for all types of massages: deep tissue, hydrating, sports, Swedish, hot stone, aroma, and more. And don't forget about their couples massages. Book your appointment today at thebodyshoplincoln.com. The Body Shop at 48th and A.
Steve's Garage Doors and Services is hiring. They are looking for a garage door installation and service technician with a clean driving record. Experience is not required, as they will train for the positions. However, mechanical aptitude is required. If you want to come be a part of a small business where you're family, not just an employee, call Steve's Garage Doors and Services today to apply at 402-480-2840. That's 402-480-2840. Steve's Garage Doors and Services.
Your home should not be a zoo to unwelcomed animals. Let the experts at Bats to Rats take care of those problems. Dane has been a leader in wildlife and pest management and prevention in Lincoln and the surrounding area for 15 years. He can help you get rid of bats, rodents, and anything else. Whether it's residential or commercial buildings, schools, apartments, or churches, they're always a phone call away. Call today at 402-310-0904 or visit batstoRats.com. Bats to Rats Wildlife Control and Prevention.
Herrick Services takes this time to wish everyone a happy St. Patrick's Day. We encourage those who go out to make smart decisions behind the wheel or plan accordingly to have someone lined up for a safe ride home. This important message comes to you from Bart, Mike, and the folks at Herrick Services, your vending specialists here in Lincoln. Their quality service and expertise has earned them a fine reputation. That's Herrick Services, on the air because they care.
If you or someone you know is having thoughts of suicide or experiencing a mental health or substance use crisis, call 988 for free, confidential, and compassionate support. On July 16th, the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline is transitioning to 988. There is hope. For 24/7 support, call, text, or chat 988.
Sponsored by Nebraska DHHS, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Forget the lame excuses this year. Your boss already knows why you can't make it to work. Join 93.7 The Ticket on Thursday and Friday, March 16th and 17th at Buffalo Wings and Rings at 68th and O for March Mayhem. Come early on Thursday to get a ping pong ball with a lucky team on it, and stay all day for prizes throughout and buzzer beater upsets. And Friday, enjoy green beers for St. Patrick's Day and day 2 of the NCAA tournament at Buffalo Wings and Rings, 68th and O. You're listening to coverage of the NCAA tournament live from Buffalo Wings and Rings at 68th and O on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Back to the Ticket Water Cooler on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We are back here. It's day 2 of March Mayhem at Buffalo Wings and Rings. This is the Ticket Water Cooler. I'm Jake Bachman. He is Enrique Alvarez Clary, and it's also St. Patrick's Day, so congrats to everybody out there. You've made it to another St. Patrick's Day. You deserve green beer. That means you got to get down here to Buffalo Wings and Rings because there's only a certain amount, and this city will dry up of green beer. So Bud Light and Busch Light available in the green tone today. Door prizes at the top of every hour from noon to 5 while we're here. Prizes like beer tubes, beer buckets, appetizers, wings and rings, $25 gift cards, craft axe throwing, $25 gift cards, ticket prize pack, St. Patrick's Day shirts, salt dogs, tickets, and Beatrice Bakery cakes. Games go all day. Why watch anywhere else? Enjoy great wings, beer, and more today at Wings and Rings, 68th and O. Couple games going on in the tournament. We should mention Michigan State with a 45-40 lead. About 15 minutes left to go in that game against USC. Kennesaw State looking for an upset. They've got the lead at halftime, 43-36 over Sean Miller and Xavier. And the Gauchos just getting going with the Baylor Bears, UCSB, and Baylor, of course, the big favorite there, 4-2. That game just starting
6-2.
6-2 now.
Baylor got another 2.
Oh, Baylor just scored.
Probably a dunk. I didn't see it, but it was probably a dunk knowing Baylor. But we are joined on the Honda of Lincoln hotline by our very good friend, Brian Munson. Brian, how are you?
Boys, probably not as good as you hanging out there with those St. Patty people. That's awesome, man. I'm glad you guys are out there having some fun on a Friday.
All right, Brian, obvious first question. How's your bracket?
I just posted. So I went a little crazy this year. We did like a family thing, and I was trying to encourage everybody to kind of do a few. And I did a random. This is funny though. I did a random quick pick, and it had West Virginia winning. And at 9 o'clock last night, I'd only won one game, and it was Furman. So it's literally in the bottom 0.5% of all the brackets that were submitted. It's total hot garbage. I mean, the serious ones like that I really put together, like I had Houston winning one. I gotta admit it, guys. I liked what I saw from Texas during the Big 12 tourney. That was tough to kind of deny them, and obviously I like Alabama too. There's like 3 or 4 schools that I could really see kind of point. Kansas is another one. I think I had four different brackets I really thought were good ones. They're actually all doing still pretty well. I think the Oral Roberts for Duke one really kind of threw me off. Obviously Arizona one was a terrible one to kind of get around, but ultimately not too bad. But that one is just total garbage, and I think it's hilarious.
That happens sometimes with your brackets. I was scared because after Furman won, I was scared that I didn't get it right. But turns out I actually had Furman winning in my good bracket. So I'm sitting pretty right now.
Oh, very nice. So that was in my one garbage bracket. I had them win, and that was the only thing that I had to feel any type of good feelings about, because the rest of it was total trash.
All right, Brian, spring football just around the corner on Monday. The biggest question for me kind of for this spring, and I don't know if you have any insight on a date that they maybe got projected, but getting down to that 85 scholarship level, do you expect to see most of that kind of cleaned up, just post-spring?
Obviously, there's going to be, some interviewing that's going to take place post-spring that they're going to talk about, where things are kind of at and how you fit in the program, et cetera. And I think that there's going to be some tough conversations that are going to happen there. I think that there's going to be some some obvious ones that potentially, need to take a look around and consider leaving and doing something else that Nebraska's going to have that tough conversation with, or they're going to have probably a little bit of a number two that they're going to be like, look, this is kind of a 50-50 thing between a couple guys. Okay, well, then let's float through the summer and see, what kind of happens here and how things shake out. I think, though, that the part there that you have to kind of remember here and be fair with the guys about is you want them to go out there and find another opportunity. And I think that if there were any type of extensions being made for any type of evaluations that continue to need to be made through June and July, I think it puts that player ultimately in a really bad spot. And plus, I don't think that there's another window to announce essentially that you're going into the portal in that later time frame. I think it's just in May. So I think that that's something that Nebraska has to kind of get down that number with. And I'm sure that they've got a great established data set, coming out of winter conditioning, coming out of those voluntary workouts that were happening in December and January. And they know who the athletic guys are. They know who the guys are that are going to give you the effort behind closed doors. And now they need to kind of carry that forward, and they got to hope that the ball players are also those same guys. And I think that that's going to be kind of an association, right? Like, is this person on that side that basically was putting forth the effort, and then they're now all the guys that I can see them in the top two at their position, because those are going to be really, really easy to kind of go through and filter. The ones that are going to get tough are the workout warriors that maybe aren't, one of the better players at their position necessarily. And that part right there, I think, is going to be a little bit tough for Nebraska to have to sort through.
We're talking with Brian Munson of Husker Online and On3 here as we get ready for spring ball. Brian, of all the kind of the newcomers that we'll see, I guess you probably don't have the list right in front of you, but how many of those guys are going to be able to participate in spring ball, and who do you expect to kind of flash a little bit?
Yeah, I've got kind of the list in front of me, and obviously there's been a lot of talk about all the portal transfers, so I don't think I need to kind of, talk those guys through very much. Like that's not really necessary. I mean, I think people can really suspect that most of those guys are gonna play a role. But then you start talking about the guys that are enrolled early. There's 7 guys that are there already that are on campus. You got Safela and Boodle and Wallen and Gatula and Noonan, Lenhart and Uben Milan. I think Uben Milan is an interesting cat, man, because it really kind of depends on where Nebraska sees him at. I think he had that body and that frame that he could really, put on some pounds very, very quickly. It's obviously an interesting spot when you start talking about the vacancies that are there with Mathis and Tanner and Nelson all being gone. And I know Lenhart's got his eyes on that one as well, and so should a guy like Noonan and Kai Wallen for that matter. I mean, they all want to kind of come in there and impress and see how things are going to kind of work. Now, Maverick is really more hand in the dirt, while I see Lenhart could be a hand in the dirt, potentially a 2-point guy playing outside. Uben Milan and Wallen to me are more of a 2-point kind of walk-up outside guy, but maybe Wallen could put his hand in the dirt too. I think that gets really kind of interesting where you see how some of those guys that are all classified as edge see where they kind of fit within the defensive structure and what Nebraska is going to kind of put out there. I mean, I think guys like Boodle and Safela, like those guys are going to be fun to kind of see. But I think obviously there's some guys there that they're competing with, and I think that you just kind of hope that they can come in there and shine a little bit athletically. Give the coaches something else to kind of think about, but whether or not they got a couple of good guys in the program in that 2023 class that obviously I think we all feel pretty good about. And then I think you scan on down to those early enroller portal guys, and I think that everybody's excited about Gilbert. Everybody's excited about like Judy and Sims and Borders and guys that we've been talking about. And I think that there's some people out there that, pay close attention to a guy like Josh Fleeks. Josh Fleeks is going to be a really interesting guy coming from a rural system in Waco before and coming to Nebraska and trying to set the culture in the locker room. He's really an extension of that coaching staff, and he really is going to be going about doing his business. the way that Rule and his staff, want all the players to go about doing their business. So it's going to be fun to watch.
Now we're speaking with Brian Munson of On3 Husker Online. And Brian, you don't have to convince me because I'm a negative Nancy, but if somebody were to see the Hayes Fawcett post about Dylan Raiola's visit schedule and see that Nebraska gets 3 visits from the number 1 quarterback in the 2024 class, how much could somebody read into that?
I think quite a bit. I mean, I've read and heard and seen just about everything with Dylan Raiola. Look, he's going to go everywhere, and the ebb and flow roller coaster that people are going to have to go through when it comes to predictions changing, the prediction meter for on 3, going up and down with every single visit. It's all baked in here. This is going to be such a up and down process. I think for Nebraska fans, it's going to be way more intense than anything that we talked about last year with Malachi Coleman. It's going to be way more intense than that, because every egg that basically of the 2024 class, the recruiting class, not just quarterback, let's just say class, is in the Raiola bucket right now. It's in that basket. Like we've got to go ahead and admit like how pivotal or how big of a commitment this could be to Nebraska's 2024 class. So I don't think I would make too much of the visits. I think that obviously they have an ability to do that. That comes from Dad having a great professional career in the pros. They've got a means to jump on a flight on a Friday night at midnight, get out of Phoenix last second to get to Lincoln. They're going to have that ability to do stuff that they've announced months in advance, and they're going to have the ability to, on a whim, and they're not doing anything on a Thursday or Friday night, they can get out of town whenever they want to. And I totally expect that that's going to happen too. So I don't think I think I would just kind of buckle up, see where it goes. I think that there's going to be some great indicators along the way, but I think Nebraska fans have to feel good about the way things are kind of trending anyway with the amount of visits and when he's coming in, and all the other guys that want to go to Nebraska and check it out to see how serious Dylan Raiola is about becoming a Cornhusker.
And, of course, kind of along those lines, they've got this big recruiting visit. Well, I mean, we'll talk about it next week for sure. All the names coming in. We talked about needing a list earlier. This is quite the list. Is Nebraska, and you're saying a lot of that's tied with Raiola, do you expect some commitments out of that? I mean, it's a lot of people visiting, a lot of big names. Should Nebraska fans hope for some commitments out of that weekend?
Somebody else asked me that question online yesterday, and honestly, I haven't given it much thought because I've just been putting names onto the list. I've been really astonished with what Rule and his staff have been able to kind of build in just 4 months. I mean, I think that the comparison here, obviously, is that, the previous staff was there for however long, and you got this infusion of guys that were recruiting very well with Bush and Applewhite and Joseph last December. And we thought things were really trending up. And then when you even take a look at the trending up aspect, and compare the trajectory of that with what's going on next weekend, they don't compare very well. I mean, this is really an exciting group to get fired up about. There's a couple guys that I would maybe tell people to be on commitment watch for, but it's not going to be the guys I think that everybody hopes would fall, like a Williams Nwaneri or a Raiola or a Ryan Pelham or a Nigel Smith. Like, those are not going to be the guys that are going to decide anything next week. But you've got Gibson Pyle that's coming back for his second trip in about a month. He's also coming in for the spring game. He'll be back for a official visit. So I think things probably look and sound pretty good with him. And then you get Ian Flint. Ian Flint is a tight end from Texas. They're both from Texas. They're both from around the Houston area. Katie just being outside and Gibson from Houston proper. But Ian was in Nebraska in January. Both of his parents went to school at Nebraska. His sister is there on the track team. So I think there's a lot of ties there between Ian and Nebraska. And he's really could be a nice compliment, I think, to Carter Nelson in the class at the tight end spot. So, and I think Pyle's got some good things about him as an offensive lineman too, as an interior guy. He is really aggressive and he finishes blocks. So I think those would be the two guys I would tell everybody to kind of keep an eye on. Other than that, I think that this kind of sets the stage for what are the visits to come, particularly in the month of June.
And, of course, another question that we should ask probably final question. We don't want to take up too much of your time. But Daniel Kalin committing to Missouri. We kind of talked about all the eggs in the Raiola bucket. Interesting, he's not done taking his own visits. Do you think that Nebraska could go back to that well, or just too little too late now with Dylan Raiola?
I mean, I think obviously that they could. I mean, Nebraska reached out to Flores twice last year. I mean, once with under Joseph and once under Rule. And he had decided that he was going to go be a Cowboy, and more power to him. And I think Kalin didn't need, the Nebraska kind of there as part of his process. He had some great offers in Missouri, Minnesota, Miami, North Carolina. I mean, he had some dandy offers that he could go ahead and choose from. It didn't have to be part of his process. He could go ahead and do what he felt like he needed to do and not really consider too much about where Nebraska's at. And plus, I think it had to be at some point, come up at least that he knew that he wasn't the number one guy in that class, in that group. And I think that makes it even a little bit more difficult for Nebraska to potentially to have to reconnect with him. But if this thing does go, the way that you mentioned with Raiola deciding to go someplace else, I could definitely see Nebraska trying to do it to get back with Kalin. That's a big kid. He's a legit 6'2.5", 6'3", and his film is excellent. I mean, he is certainly a D1 quarterback. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, it's interesting too. I think I think in-state recruiting a little less important for basketball than it is football. There's just less scholarships to go there. It's kind of the same thing with quarterback. Is you're only picking one a class, so does it necessarily have to be the local guy? I don't know, but at the same time, you look bad if that guy goes on and does well elsewhere, as we've seen before.
I think there's a lot to be said about that when it comes to this 2024 group in general. I mean, there's a lot of guys at some positions that it's going to get incredibly competitive to keep a spot in that class if they decide to kind of hang out there too long, because Nebraska's bringing in some dudes at wide receiver, at defensive back. That stuff is definitely something that they have to keep an eye on.
That's interesting. In-state recruiting, always a fun topic, and even more interesting with the quarterback. Brian Munson of Husker Online and On3. Thanks again for your time today, Brian. Good luck with your remaining brackets.
Hey, don't do anything today I wouldn't do, guys. All right? Be good.
All right, thanks.
Thanks, Brian.
There he goes. Brian Munson of Husker Online and On3. Once again, we're out here celebrating March Mayhem at Buffalo Wings and Rings at 68th and O. You got 10 minutes here for the next prize drawing. We'll do it at the top of every hour. If you missed that, don't worry. We're doing this until 5 o'clock. So get down here. Beer tubes, beer buckets, appetizers, Wings and Rings gift cards, craft axe throwing gift cards, ticket prize pack, St. Patrick's Day shirts, Salt Dogs tickets, and Beatrice Bakery cakes.
Everything.
All among the things that are being handed out today if you win. So we're having fun. We'll give you a score update, and we'll round out the show coming up next here on the Ticket Water Cooler on 93.7 The Ticket.
You're listening to coverage of the NCAA Tournament live from Buffalo Wings and Rings at 68th and O on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Your home should not be a zoo to unwelcomed animals. Let the experts at Bats to Rats take care of those problems. Dane has been a leader in wildlife and pest management and prevention in Lincoln and the surrounding area for 15 years and can help you get rid of bats, rodents, and anything else. Whether it's residential or commercial buildings, schools, apartments, or churches, they're always a phone call away. Call today at 402-310-0904 or visit batstoRats.com. Bats to Rats Wildlife Control and Prevention.
Starting up, all great things that also cause a lot of stress. Instead of letting your nerves get the best of you and cause uncomfortable tightness, get ahead of all of it with a massage from The Body Shop. The Body Shop in Lincoln is your place for all types of massages: deep tissue, hydrating, sports, Swedish, hot stone, aroma, and more. And don't forget about their couples massages. Book your appointment today at thebodyshoplincoln.com. The Body Shop at 48th and A.
Repeat after me. I will not touch the fuse box.
I will probably not touch the fuse box.
Sip, do you remember what happened last time?
Yeah, I remember.
What happened?
Half of the city block lost power.
And?
My chicken condo went haywire.
That's right. The chickens ran wild. So what do we do instead?
Call Joe at Ambition Electric and let him handle everything. Look, saved on speed dial.
Ambition Electric, 402-665-4650 or online at ambitionelectric.com.
Nebco is hiring CDL drivers for Ready Mix Concrete, Husker Concrete, and Beatrice Concrete. Nebco offers great pay, medical, and retirement benefits, paid time off, and we pay for CDL training. Apply today to earn an average total compensation of $50,000 to $60,000 your first year driving. From Nebco's beginnings in 1908, it's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's NEBCOINC.com. Integrated Life Choices has been inspiring opportunities for individuals with disabilities for more than 15 years in Lincoln by offering a number of services. From group homes for special needs adults to independent living resources and job training, you'll find the intellectual and developmental disability services your loved one needs to live a fulfilling life. They're also hiring. If you're looking for a more rewarding career, learn more about available positions. Learn more about services for your loved ones or employment today at ilc.net. Integrated Life Choices.
Getting experience to jumpstart a meaningful career can be difficult, and education can cost a fortune. Luckily, AmeriCorps can be the solution. With AmeriCorps, you'll earn a stipend and education award while helping people. Plus, you'll gain professional skills and make connections to help you build your career. If you're ready to start a career you can be proud of, visit serve.nebraska.gov/service to find a program for you. Paid for by Serve Nebraska, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red!
Are you ready for $0 cost individual employee health insurance? How about company paid life insurance? What about on-the-job paid training? Become part of the Landmark difference today. Join Landmark Implement, your local John Deere dealer, at our upcoming career fairs. Chat one-on-one with our team to hear what it's really like to work with us. Career fairs will be held at Landmark locations March 14th in Fairfield, March 16th in Hebron, March 21st in Holdridge, and March 22nd in Marysville, Kansas, and March 23rd in Beatrice, Nebraska. See more details at www.landmark.careers.
Meeting your goal of having a healthy diet has never been easier than with the Venue at Home Healthy Living subscription. Chef-inspired meals that are health conscious and delivered right to your door every week. All you have to do is heat and eat. We offer delicious entrees, gluten-free pastas, fresh rice bowls, soups, salads, and more. Build your own package as a subscription to receive meals every week, designed to help you meet your dietary goals. Order your custom healthy meal package today at venueathome.net.
Max 10 for men. Bye-bye golfer lines and t-shirt 10s. Take it to the max at Max 10. Get a 30-day pass, just $25. With stand-ups and laydowns for men of stature. Be a Max 10 man. Get 30 days for just $25 now at all 4 Lincoln Max 10 locations.
Sandhills Global is hiring. Check out sandhills.jobs for more information. Sandhills is looking to fill hundreds of new openings in sales, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Sandhills has a professional culture and is fast-paced with a focus on growth, innovation, and leading-edge technologies. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Apply today at sandhills.jobs.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
A rather windy and cool St. Patrick's Day on the way. Will top out at 39. Northwest winds could gust over 25. And we'll even see a chance of some scattered snow showers. Tonight, we'll see clearing skies with a low down to around 12. And a frigid start to the weekend. Sunny but cold tomorrow with a high of 28. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
You're listening to coverage of the NCAA tournament live from Buffalo Wings and Rings at 68th and O on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Back to the Ticket Water Cooler, brought to you by Wingstop on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We are live at Buffalo Wings and Rings at 68th and 0 here in Lincoln, Nebraska. Day 2 of March Mayhem, and there hopefully we see some mayhem around the corner because some of these games are getting pretty good. Michigan State now with a 58-49 lead in the 7-10 game over USC. About 7 minutes to go there. Kennesaw State with a 9-point lead. The 14 seed over the 3 seed Xavier just starting the second half there. 47-38, about 18 minutes left. And the Gauchos taking on Baylor. Baylor with a 22-19 lead in that 3-14 game there.
Keeping
about
it close.
8 minutes left in the first half. Yeah,
Let's go Owls of Kennesaw State.
Yeah,
I want to see them win. I don't even care anymore. Let's do it.
Yeah, brackets be damned because they
Yeah.
already are.
Yeah.
Let's just see some craziness.
Take that, Sean Miller.
I always kind of think of the 2007 year, the crazy year in college football. I think this could be the crazy year in college basketball, March Madness, where maybe there's a year where you don't get any ones in the Final Four.
All of the ones are gone.
All the ones.
Although Alabama
don't
looks
make it to the Sweet 16.
Really good.
Yeah, Alabama might break my hopes there.
The only reason Houston will make it is if their point guard can't get healthy, which he's got a groin strain, and those are tough to come back from, man. Those are stingy. They stick around. Groin strains are very annoying. Had to deal with one in college. They suck.
How long did it take you to get back?
It took me like the entire indoor season.
Really?
Indoor season, and even it lasted until outdoor. I tried running in the first meet and re-injured it, so I sat out the next 3. And just treatment every single day. I barely practiced, just treatment, and I was able to come back. But that season was pretty much a wash for me. It wasn't. But my worst times came in that season. Just couldn't really open up. It was annoying. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, good luck to him.
Groin strains suck, man. So hopefully they're able to figure something out. With
they
him,
don't. They don't sound too fun. I've always thought that. I don't think I've ever.
You don't
had
realize
one,
how much you use that muscle on the inside of your leg until you strain it, and then you're every little movement just hurts.
Yeah.
So, whatever. I guess hopefully he'll get better.
Sounds about right.
Especially because I picked Houston to win. So.
Oh, yeah. Then you really got to hope. Michael Jordan in talks to sell his majority stake in the Hornets. Of course, the easy joke is he sucked with the Hornets so far. Here's something that will make you last a little less. Michael Jordan might be doing so to cash in on his investment. He paid $180 million in 2010 to be one of the Hornets' majority stakeholder. The franchise now worth $1.77 billion.
Yeah, he gonna get some money
from
that one. So good for him. But I don't know how much you can blame an owner for. Although I can blame James Dolan for the Knicks being bad. I don't know how much you can actually blame an owner for a team being bad. But it wasn't the greatest during his time as a majority stakeholder.
No, it hasn't been, and I think a lot of blame goes there, but that's not necessarily a.
It's not just
it hasn't
him.
been a free agent destination. They just haven't got anything going. I think of an alternate world where Michael Jordan's team, whatever it is in the playoffs every year, and he's just a very maybe vocal or very, at least you see him quite a bit as an owner, and that just has never happened with Charlotte. So who knows? Maybe with this venture, with this money, he'll go buy a good team or something.
He'll go buy a better team.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's what his plans are, but in any case, don't make fun of him too much because he is cashing in on that one.
He still has more money than you.
And he's one of the best people of all time. You'll hear about his name 400 years from now.
Yeah,
so,
no big
something
deal.
like that. Mike Gesicki joining the Patriots, reuniting with Bill O'Brien.
Yeah.
You are stealing Sorensen's tight end over there. You like that?
I told him, I said, thanks for Mike Gesicki, and he didn't seem to care. So,
yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter with me. Mike Gesicki was recruited to Penn State by Bill O'Brien. So they're reuniting with each other, and it'll be a blast. Now we have Hunter Henry and Mike Gesicki because they traded Jonnu Smith to the Falcons. Oh, well.
Still waiting to see where Levante falls. There's been a lot of deals been made. Haven't seen anything about Levante David.
He's going back to Tampa.
Oh, he made that?
Yeah, he was going back to Tampa. I think it was a 1-year deal.
Boo.
Yeah, unfortunately. I want to see him go somewhere better.
Yeah, I'm just not sure if Tampa's going to be too competitive this year, but we'll see what they do there. Now with Baker Mayfield and Kyle Trask.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's going to go the way you want it to.
Yeah.
Other news, though, Deontay Foreman signed with the Bears to help replace David Montgomery. So that will be a little bit helpful there in some NFL news. As for Nebraska, practice 1 starting on Monday. We talked about it a little bit so far, but Marcus Satterfield able to talk to the press the other day and let it be known the first practice is going to be 6 a.m. in the morning.
All right, bright and early.
Goodness,
Yay, let's do it.
What time you wake up for a 6 a.m. practice? 4:30?
Yeah, if you have to get taped and everything, some treatment. something like that. We got about a minute left if you want to hit that out music mark. Yeah, it's something early like that, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. I never had a 6 a.m. practice for football.
That's going to be bright and early. Of course, they're going to, I think the first week is the only week they're going to have back-to-back days. And then throughout the rest of the spring session, they'll have a day off in between each practice. So that'll help a little bit as far as waking up so early. But that'll wrap it up for the Ticket Water Cooler. Again, come on down to Buffalo Wings and Rings at 68th and O. It is day 2 of March Mayhem. We've got the happy hour coming up next. So, Rico, you still can't eat. I'm going to order food and eat before you do.
I'm eating little by little. Just every time we go on a break, I go get like 1 or 2 wings. That'll be all right.
All right. That'll wrap it up for the Ticket Water Cooler happy hour coming up next. Make your way out to Buffalo Wings and Rings. We're having fun.
You're listening to coverage of the NCAA tournament